Okay, moving on to the second part of your final project. This would be the resort materials part of the final project. Just a couple things to mention here. So you're choosing the type of resort you want. I think a lot of us often think of like a beach resort, but many different options. You have golf resorts, spa, ski. It could be summer, it could be winter, whatever you want to focus on. The thing that you want to really make sure that you're including when you're thinking about this is that all of these pieces should look cohesive. Business card, letterhead, flyer, rack card. Just a side note on the rack card, these are the cards you often see, like I often think of like when you go to places like Wisconsin Dells or like places with a bunch of different type of resort type of towns or communities. When you walk into a lot of hotels, you see all these various different either brochures or cards you can pick up. And that's what's called a rack card. So sometimes they're brochures, sometimes they're just a card, two-sided. And that's what I'm asking you to do for this one. So everything as you're thinking about it, it could be a current resort or location, but you need to make it look different. So I would highly encourage you to stay away from local unless you have your own, which I'm going to show you here in a second, and you want to revamp something, but don't use like Kohler Water Spa or Blue Harbor or stuff unless you're going to completely change the look of it. It needs to be a different look. So it can be a current place, but you need to change the look of things. Okay, so here's a couple examples I just want to show you. This is the rack card from a student from last year. So I wanted to show you this one because it isn't necessarily a beach resort of, that we normally would see for this. So kind of different. And you can see how she incorporated the price. Oftentimes rack cards include prices of some sort. So you need to do that and include some sort of table or taps for this part of it. So again, just kind of, you're making it look interesting. You're putting in some important information. And then including some probably pricing information. If this would be some sort of spa, you probably would have pricing information on the different spa services. If it's some kind of golf, you might have different packages that are available, different things. Some golf packages would include hotels and stuff as well. So it could be a lot of different things you could choose there to include on your rack card. As you look at the setup on here, I've given you the size it needs to be. You're going to have 2 pages. Up to you if you want to bleed. In this case, this person did not include a bleed, which I probably would have encouraged them to do because as we know, we don't know how this would exactly print. So you probably would have wanted a bleed on this one. I didn't have her InDesign file downloaded, but I wanted to show you her flyer as well. So her flyer also included some prices. Not all flyers do. So you definitely do not need to include the exact same information. You could change things up. It could be very different looking, which will be an example that we'll use in the next one. But obviously, I'm not going to show you every little piece, but you could imagine that the business card and the letterhead would have all of these same types of things on there to show that cohesive look to all the documentation. Here's one other example. Again, not perfect, missing one piece, which was the pricing. And I don't know if something weird came through on this or I'm just missing it right here. But you can see this one is very clean, very elegant. You could see that this is probably a very high-end sort of experience. So very different from the other option that we saw there, example that we saw. Very clean looking, I guess is what I would call this. This person did include a bleed. You can see the bleed on there. Same thing, the number of pages and the height and the width is all the same, but just to kind of give you a different option here as far as the bleed. His flyer is very different in that, and this is often how you see flyers. Flyers will often be sort of attention-getting, doesn't need to necessarily include a lot of detail information. It's more to get somebody's attention. So a very different looking flyer from the other example that we used. So one thing I did just add on here today, somebody emailed me and asked me, do you want us to package the resort materials as well? Yes, please package your resort materials so I have all the information. And the one thing I wanted to mention on this as well is the artist statement. I know you guys have done this for other classes, but please give me an artist statement. Tell me what you were thinking. Why did you do what you did? How did you make it all consistent, cohesive? Explain your choice of design and why you did what you did on that. So please don't forget that artist statement. That's worth 10 points. So each of these 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, each one of these is worth 10 points for this resort materials part of the project. So as always, let me know if you have any questions. Wanted to give you a couple examples here. Hopefully I've included everything that you need. But of course, let me know if I haven't, and I'll address that. Thanks.